Good morning, everybody, and happy holidays. My name is Bryce Harden, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing some baking skills for the holidays. I was a baker for about 20 years, and in my lifetime, I had just wanted to just stop the whole thing because I wanted to enjoy the process again. And what I'm currently doing is building an acting career, hence making this video is a part of it, and I'm excited about doing it. This is also our first time doing this project, so things may not go as perfect as it seems. However, what we're here to create is fun, creativity, and relatedness. So that's what the holidays are all about. So when people get together and perform their cooking skills and their baking skills, you know, it's an interaction and fun. And so two things we'll be doing today. One, we'll be doing a classic Italian bread. Well, not so classic, but classic enough for people at home to do it. And I chose these recipes because these recipes are easy for anybody to do. Of course, I also chose them because for real, I wanted things to be easy as well. And I like things to be easy and smooth. Doesn't go like that all the time, but okay. But anyways, we will get started on our Italian dough. Cece, would you mind coming up, please?
Sure.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Bryce.
Good. So what had you come in and be involved with this? Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Well, Bryce, I love the holidays.
Oh.
I love bread.
Oh, wow.
I'm a card queen. And
we're both card queens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hey, you know we tell, but we're fabulous looking card
yes,
queens,
we
right?
are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you love bread, and you were curious about how to bake bread,
Yes, how
right?
to bake bread. Like, I love to eat bread, but I don't really know how to bake bread. So
Well,
this is a learning experience.
this is your chance to learn today.
Yeah.
All right. So what you want to hand me is 1 1/3 cups of water of what I have in the bowl.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, in the bowl. It's okay. It's all right. And for your water at home, to make sure that your water is in the temperature in between 100 and 120, like 105, 110, somewhere around there, or like warm to the touch. So basically what happens is that the yeast can have some fuel and the yeast won't get killed by extreme heat. So that's what's going to happen. And if you could hand me the flour, please. And if you could hand me the cup, please.
This one here?
Yeah, that one right there. That's perfect. Because I'm not going to dump all this flour in at one time. And what we have is we're going to start with 4 cups of flour. Now, sometimes with breads, you may have to like adjust some more bread or put some more water in there just to get the right consistency. So it's really a game. So I can put some of this bread flour in here, and not bread flour, it's all-purpose flour. But Cece, could you hand me the rest of that? Yes.
Sure.
Okay. I know I have this in a conglomeration, but again, this is to basically save time and to save time. So, what I have right here, I have a tablespoon of yeast, this is a tablespoon of yeast, tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of salt. Now, if you see this flaky stuff in between, those are potato flakes. And what the potato flakes are gonna do, the potato flakes are gonna make the bread softer. And underneath that, I also have a 1/4 cup of milk powder. Let me go over the measurements again to make sure I don't miss anything. So I have a tablespoon of sugar, I have a tablespoon of yeast, I have a tablespoon of salt, I have a 1/4 cup of potato flakes, and I have a 1/4 cup of milk powder. Now, you're probably wondering why I have the yeast and the sugar together and the salt separately by itself. Well, how yeast lives and how yeast fuels is with sugar and warm water. If you put yeast in direct contact with salt, it's going to kill the yeast. So that's why you want to go ahead and be able to mix things in together so that it can incorporate properly. So and then underneath is a 1/4 cup of milk powder. So basically here, I'm gonna dump everything in here. And thank you, Cece. And what we're going to do, I got a mixer with a dough hook on here, and I'm gonna start with a slow mix, just, you know, for a couple of minutes so that all the flour can incorporate. So until like some of the flour and some of the ingredients are dissolved. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want to add a whole bunch of flour at once, because if you add a whole bunch of flour at once, it's going to be hard on your mixer and it's going to make a big mess all over the counter. And you know, that's one objective here is that we are trying to stay clean. So, okay. So we can, you know, put some more flour in. Put some more flour in, step at a time. And just again, have it at your lowest setting until all the flour is absorbed. Now see if we can get like a close-up of how this is being mixed. Okay. You see how the flour is absorbed in the water, it's absorbed in the liquid. And you see where it gets kind of pasty. So that's what you want to do. That's what you want to take steps to do so that, like I said, you don't have a big mess and it's not so hard and it has your mixer last a little longer. And then eventually, when we'll have all of our ingredients in there, we're going to turn up the speed on this a little bit so it can develop a substance that's called gluten. Gluten is when flour forms or flour-based products form. It's the elasticity that's inside of bread dough, you know, that makes it look so well. So you see how it's catching on right now? So it smells good, and I love the smell of yeast. I love it. I love it. You see that? See how it looks? Okay. All right. And this is where a point, CC, where you come look at this. This is where we can add maybe a little bit of water. So if you could take the bowl that the original water is in and get us a little bit more water, and then we can add it gradually to this so that we can have the right balance. So like I said, with bread, it's tricky sometimes when you're mixing like flour and water together, because when you're mixing flour and water together, sometimes it may appear to be a little bit rough, sometimes it may appear to be a little bit soft, so you just want to get it the right balance and the right consistency. And you know, you don't want to add everything at one time, you just want to add it slowly and gradually. Okay, I'll turn this off. Add a little more flour. Okay, get in there, flour. Yeah. That's how I communicate at home when I want something to work. So, all right. So we see, add a little more water. There we go. So it's all coming together. Yeah, look at that. So it's all incorporating. Okay. All right. And that may be a little too much water, but you know, like I said, the flour is strong enough to absorb it. And the type of flour that I'm using for this particular recipe is all-purpose flour, because bread flour is made for bread, in which bread is a little stronger. So, but for this recipe, I'm using all-purpose flour because this is what most people have in their home. So again, this is a home event. Like, there are many different types of flours, so this is not really expecting anybody to have any type of professional baking experience. Okay. All right, so we're gonna turn this up a little more. So this could start to absorb. So you see how the dough is forming? You see where the elastic is coming in? That's what you call gluten. Yeah, that's where the elastic is coming in. But you want it to where it's looking smooth. Now, my ideal is for it to look smooth like it does professionally, what I'm used to. However, again, this is really homemade bread, and so we're gonna mix it until it looks really decent. So maybe like for about 10 minutes or so, to see it mix. All right. Now you see how like a lot of the dough has pulled away and you have a clear and clean bowl? That's a good dough. So everything we added is all good. So this is an ideal dough that you want to have. So we're gonna let this mix a few more minutes. So Cece, you have any questions about this?
Yes, I was actually looking at this mixer. It's very nice. It's a lot different than the one I have at home.
Yeah.
So is there a difference? This one has like a hook on it, I believe.
Yeah, this is a dough hook. So this mixer would have 3 attachments to it. A dough hook is ideally used for bread, and a paddle is made for other batters and soft doughs like cakes and quick breads like banana breads and corn breads. And then a third attachment would be a whisk. So a whisk is what you can make frostings with and some cake mixes with if you want to have some air. You also whip some buttercream with it too.
Buttercream. I love buttercream.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah. So probably the next time what we'll do is we'll, have a special on how to do buttercream.
Okay.
Now I know you look forward to that.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. All right. So we could probably take this out, and one way that we could do this is we could spray this with oil.
Okay.
All right.
And what kind of oil is this?
It's just regular vegetable oil.
Okay.
Yeah, just regular vegetable oil, just something very inexpensive.
Okay.
And you put it in a bottle. We're going to take this dough out. And what we can do, see if you can take that bowl and spray it with oil. So see, look at this dough right here. Take a look at this ball. Take a look at this.
Yes.
Here, put your hands on that. See how that feels.
Smooth.
Yes.
Yes.
So you see that?
Definitely.
So you may want to rub it into maybe sort of a tight ball. Like I said, this is a sufficient amount of gluten in there. And what we want to do, we want to put it in the bowl. And we want to go ahead and we want to cover that up and let that proof for an hour.
Okay.
Now, we already have some dough that's already proofed. So if you could get the bowl with the proof dough, please, and cover that bowl with the towel. Thank you very much. Oh, proofing. Proofing is a process in which you allow the dough to grow, in which, this is a first step of proofing. And here you go. So you let the dough rest, hence you let the dough proof until it's twice the size right here. All right. As you can see, Cece, here's the dough that we mixed, and here's the dough that was mixed earlier. And so this is a result of the yeast eating the sugar. And when the yeast has sugar to eat, this is what it forms. Yeast just grows. it grows, and it grows the dough. So here's the version of a proof dough, and here's a version of a dough that's yet to be proofed.
Awesome. And how long does it take to proof again?
About an hour.
An hour? Okay.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it depends on the type of yeast that you have.
Okay.
Now, we've made this with instant yeast,
Okay.
so it may have proofed within 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I
So-
love time sufficiency.
Yeah, we
Yes,
love time
definitely.
management,
Yes,
don't we?
definitely.
So let's take that dough and cover it up. And so we're gonna take this, we're gonna put this out. Okay, you wanna remove that bowl. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this and we are going to make maybe some soup bowls with it. Yes, yes, yes. So, we go ahead, we roll it out like this. Here, just press it down, just feel it.
Wow.
Doesn't that feel great?
Yeah, it's like a stress ball.
So not only you would be able to enjoy bread, but you would also be able to relieve stress.
Yes.
And relieve stress out on dough and not on a living person. All right. So here's what we're going to do right here. We're going to cut this way and then cut the dough this way. So CC, do you want to?
Sure.
Yes. And what this is, they call this a bread knife. A bread knife is used versus a regular knife because a regular knife is not going to support you in cutting dough. So you may get cut. But if you see, if you lift up the blade, so you see where the blade is, right? And the blade is not too sharp because it's made to cut dough. It's not made to cut, vegetables or meat or anything like that. And you see where the handle is. So where the handle is where you handle the handle, and it supports you in cutting the dough so that you don't cut yourself. So if you don't have one of these, you can use a regular knife. I would say get these anyway. So safety is very important, especially for someone like you who's doing this the first time. Okay, so cut it in half again. Great. And cut it in half again. Okay, great. Good. All right. So you and I are going to take a ball and we're going to form it. Now, normally with bread, you would go ahead and, knead it out on the table with flour and stuff like that. But because of the dough of the way it is and the way we mixed it, we don't have to do that. That we could just mix it, we could just form it on a lightly oiled surface. That if you take a dough like this, you see how smooth this is?
Is mine getting there?
Yeah. Let's help you with yours. So, see how I'm tucking underneath?
Okay, so you're tucking.
Yeah, I'm tucking underneath. And I'm not tucking underneath that much.
Okay.
Then after you tuck underneath, what you want to do, you want to take both hands like this.
Okay.
And you just want to circle around. There you go. Circle around in little balls. So look at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let me show you. Like you see how a little bit of the dough goes underneath my hand like this.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm still tucking it underneath.
Okay.
And I'm using the left hand to kind of coordinate. So this is a good ball. This is a good, yeah, this is great. So take your other dough and do as such. And then what we'll do is that we will take these, and we will put them on a sheet pan, lined. We will take them on a sheet pan and we'll line it with parchment paper so that we could go ahead and put it on there. Now, one thing I forgot to do was to have cornmeal. Normally what cornmeal does, you put cornmeal underneath so that your bread, so it's a texture thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a texture thing. So go ahead, roll it out like that. Here, watch my hands.
Oh, okay, there you go. See, Bryce has the
There you
magic
go.
touch.
You have the magic touch too. It just has to be stirred up. Now, let's see your bowl. Okay. See, this is a good stress reliever, right?
It is. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really fun. And so this is great. And so, okay, we got some dough bowls of different sizes. Okay, and so we can get the pan that's underneath. Yeah. There we go. And if you can get out the parchment paper. Parchment paper is right over there in the cabinet. We can make this fit. We can make this work. So the way we're going to put the bread on, we're going to put the bread on like this. And the reason why we're putting it on like this is because of the fact that it gives each bread room to grow, because we're going to proof it again. Do you remember what proofing was again?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. That's where we allow the dough to rest and grow. But what we're going to do, we're going to use the oven as a proof box. I got a pot of water down underneath so it can have moisture. And also what we can do, you can take this water. Actually, you know what? We can keep this water, because what we're going to do is we're going to make egg wash. Okay. Oh. This is fun. All right, and it's already in some water. And so what we're making is we're making an egg wash. So what the purpose of egg wash is designed to not only have your bread brown when it's actually baking, but to also give it a shine as well. Yes, so it has that shine, it has that sheen on it, and it has a professional look. So if you can get a fork out of that drawer and then we can beat it, we can beat the egg. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Just beat it up. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's beat it up a little more. Okay. All right. Okay, that's sufficient right there. So if you could get me the baster brush that's on the cabinet over there. Here. Okay. And what we're going to do, I don't have a traditional brush because the traditional brush has a wood handle and those bristles on there. But what I've seen, what happens with those bristles is that they tend to come off over time. And you don't want any type of anything, you want to have nothing but food in your mouth, not anything else. And it's also good sanitation practice too. And so again, some of that professionalism, that's still in me, and I like to keep things safe. So we're going to take this, we're going to egg wash it. Okay. And you see that? So what the egg, like I said, what's the egg wash going to do to the bread? Cece, do you remember?
It's going to give it that beautiful brown tint, tone. Make it professional looking.
Make it professional looking and make it shine.
Shine.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to put it in the oven. And it's going to proof for about 30 minutes to an hour or until it's double in size. So we're going to let it rest again. And it's in a covered surface. All right? All right. Okay. One thing that we forgot to do in the earlier segment was we forgot to add a 1/4 cup of olive oil.
That's right.
And do you remember what the olive oil was for?
No, what was
The olive oil is made like, if you put any type of fat in anything, it's to bring moisture.
Okay.
And it also helps with elasticity of bread as well. Yes,
Well,
yes.
moist bread is always a good thing.
Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't have not been like the regular American homemade Italian bread. We would have had rustic bread, and it would have been like, what the hell? I ain't making that. No. Anyway, okay. Off tangent. Get on focus. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be making is dinner rolls. Yeah, rolls are a signature holiday item, especially for Thanksgiving. And what do people make? I mean, if you're a starch queen, you're gonna enjoy, let's see, stuffing, potatoes, rolls.
Definitely rolls.
Definitely rolls.
Butter.
Oh,
Warm, yes.
that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay, so what I want you to do is hand me the warmed milk and water combination. So what we have is 3/4 cup of milk and a 1/2 cup of water. And again, liquid is needed for the structure of the bread. And so the reason why we add milk to dinner rolls, because in traditional dinner rolls has milk. Where sometimes some people don't add milk because there is a chance of dinner rolls browning too fast, because milk has an ingredient in it that's called lactose. Lactose is a type of sugar. It's a milk sugar. And what ends up happening is, if milk is not monitored, it's going to burn and it's going to scald pans. Yes. So you know how you boil milk? You know how you boil milk in the pot?
Yes.
And then it has those brown skin
Yes.
over there? That's scalding.
Okay.
So we don't want that. Okay, and hand me the flour, please. And the cup that we previously used for the Italian bread. Okay, and this is going to be 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Again, the type of flour that everyone uses at home. So I'm going to put some flour in here. And then what you're going to add me is another concoction of sugar, yeast, and salt. Now, again, why I have this like this? Time management and everything. Well, just time management. Here's the yeast. This is a 1/2 ounce of yeast. So that looks like about a good 2 to 3 tablespoons. If you wanna say so, it looks like at least 2 tablespoons to me. And this is the 1/3 cup of sugar, and then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you're probably wondering, Cece, why are we adding more sugar to dinner rolls?
Yes, why?
Because dinner roll is more or less like a sweet dough.
Okay.
That's what has it taste like dinner rolls.
Okay.
And that's what it's going to make the bread softer.
Okay.
So you have the sugar and the milk, and it's going to make the bread softer. And it's also going to make your dough richer. And again, you're adding more sugar and yeast for the dinner roll. So we're going to dump all that in, pour it in there. It's all going to absorb. Okay. All right. And can you hand me that stick of butter, please, that's cut off? Yes. You're also wondering what the butter is for.
Yes, what is the butter for? Is it to keep it moist or keep it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it adds flavor to it too. Because last time we forgot the fat in the bread, and we're not going to do that this time. So that's 5 tablespoons of butter.
Okay.
So, which also has more lactose. And you're going to put it in the bowl for it to incorporate. Guess what else we're adding to dinner rolls?
What?
You see that bowl of eggs over there?
Eggs.
Why are we adding to it?
I have no clue. Why are we adding the eggs?
We're adding eggs because, again, this is going to give the bread a very soft texture. And it's also going to add to flavor and color.
Okay.
Yes. So it's sort of similar to egg bread, but egg bread is still a little harder because we got milk and we got a lot of sugar. We got a good amount of sugar in there. And again, this is designed to make the dough rich. So we're going to add our eggs in there, which are already beaten. Okay, and so we don't need these 2 bowls anymore. All right, so just pass that to the side. And the advantage with this recipe is it's 2 eggs beaten. So let me go over the recipe all the way down. We have 4.5 cups of flour. We have a 1/3 cup of sugar. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and maybe 2 tablespoons of yeast. And the type of yeast I used again was instant yeast. Instant yeast is what you can add to dry ingredients. So you usually see yeast add to wet ingredients because it's a different type of yeast, which is either fresh yeast or another brand that's called rapid rise yeast or active dry. So active dry and fresh is what you add to wet ingredients. Instant is what you can combine in dry ingredients. So basically, I'll go over the recipe again. So we have 4.5 cups of flour. We have a 1/3 cup of sugar. We have about 2 tablespoons of yeast, or in weight, 1/2 ounce. And we also have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And for the other ingredients, we have 5 tablespoons of butter, 2 eggs lightly beaten, 3/4 cup of milk, and a 1/2 cup of water. So I've gone over all the ingredients so no one is missing out on anything. And do you see this dough right here? Do you see how it's a little softer? And then all of that is going to absorb. So it's not going to do a bunch of tremendous work like the Italian bread did. So all the dough is going to pull it. You see that, Cece? Now how does that look to you?
It looks good. Like at first it was soft, and now it's starting to form.
Yeah. But the design of this is it's supposed to be soft. It's supposed to be just a little bit soft. And then probably with this dough, we could probably add a little more flour. And so, if you don't mind getting the flour from the cabinet, thank you. So, see, the thing is, you want your dough to be soft, but not too soft. Because if it's too soft, then the gluten is not really formed. And with dinner roll dough, you don't want the gluten to be hard like, an Italian bread. So we're just gonna, add a little bit here. Thank you, Cece. And remember what I said earlier, that working with bread can be tricky, because it's like, a recipe is a recipe and we're supposed to follow the recipe, and that's fine, that's great. However, in some cases it could be like, maybe because the temperature of the liquid is a little higher, a little lower, or maybe because of, we didn't have the temperature of the flour, or temperature of the room. Could be different things that could affect the dough. So, all right. So let's see. Wow. So let's turn this up a bit and see what's going to happen. Okay. Now, pretty soon, again, that the dough is going to start to pull away from the bowl because it's going to have enough gluten in there. Yeah. Now, there are different type of rolls that people do. Like, there's some people that do spoon rolls, but this is going to be a traditional dinner roll dough where we shape the rolls and put them in the pan. And And so this is supposed to mix for a total of about 10 minutes on low speed because you don't want to. And then, you know, it's okay if the dinner roll is sticking a little bit at the bottom. Basically, it's because it's a richer dough. It's a richer dough than your traditional Italian dough or any of your hard bread doughs. So you got a little bit down there, because what we can do is we can put it in a bowl, you know, put it in an oil bowl on an oiled surface and let it proof. This recipe, you don't let it proof that long.
Okay.
You can proof it for as little as 10 minutes. Well, let's say at the max 30, but like, you know, if it proofs until it's double in size, it's okay. Okay, Cece.
Yes.
Do you see the difference in this dough that we did and the dough that was done earlier?
Yes.
And can you tell? You remember what proofing does?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so tell the people what
everyone.
proofing does.
Well, this is the CC version of proofing. I won't be as technically savvy as Bryce here. What proofing is, it gives. Actually, that's when the yeast that's in the bread, it eats the sugar, and in that time it expands to twice its size. And this is proofing. This is not proofing.
Okay, great. So the yeast, when the yeast expands, the dough expands, right?
Yes.
So in order for the dough to expand, the yeast has to expand. In order for the yeast to expand, the yeast has to eat sugar. Just like people, in order for people to grow, people must eat. So, child, adult. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover this up.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take this dough and we're going to shape it into a rectangle. I own the bowl. Okay, if you could just set the bowl aside, please.
Okay.
Thank you. And, you know, just go ahead and
Okay, it needs to be in the shape of.
just pat it out.
Okay,
You know,
here's the stress ball technique again.
Stress ball technique again. You know, we just pat it out,
Okay.
and it looks nice. How does it feel?
Great.
Now you see that? Now is this fun?
Very fun.
And you notice the difference with the dinner roll and the Italian bread roll?
Yes, I do.
And what's the difference?
This one seems to be a lot softer,
Yeah.
and it was a lot easier to, knead down.
And that's what dinner roll is made for. The dinner roll is made for, again, we said the dinner roll is a soft dough. It's a soft bread. It's soft and rich, where it's supposed to be soothing and comfortable. Where the Italian bread, however, is kind of tough. Mm-hmm. But we don't want but it's gonna be hard on the outside and soft on the inside. So that's what Italian bread dough is. This is soft through and through. Soft on the outside, soft on the inside. So what we're going to do, we're gonna cut this rectangle in half. So cut this rectangle in half.
Okay.
Okay, and now we're gonna cut it half,
Again, like
horizontally, crisscross, across. Okay. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut each rectangle in thirds.
that. Okay.
I know that's kind of tricky sometimes to cut each one of these pieces in thirds, but you'll see what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
You'll see. So, do you know how to cut it in thirds?
Yes.
Okay, so is that a third? No, baby. Hold on. So a third is 3 pieces.
Yes, so
that may look like 4. So it's approximately like this.
A bit bigger. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's real close.
Stretch that out.
Yes. So we're going to cut the rest of these. I'll cut these in thirds.
Okay.
Because I'm very acquainted with this. I'm like, when you're in baking, precision is a must. So now we got 12 rectangles, right?
Yes.
So guess what we're going to do next? We're going to cut these rectangles in half. I know it's a lot of half, quarter, half, third. I know it gets confusing,
Okay.
but you see what it is. So I want you to cut each piece like this.
Okay.
So cut each piece like that. Okay, I know you can cut in half. That's good.
Get that a little bit.
There you go. So is this fun for you?
It is.
This is a new experience for you.
Definitely. So now I know if I'm stuck in traffic on 85 and I'm stressed out, come home and bake bread.
And so now what I want you to do is get one of the greased pans. Okay? And what you're going to do, here it is. You're going to take these pieces right here. You see these pieces? We're going to roll them into little balls. Like this. Okay, all right. No problem. We're going to put them in here. Give me the balls.
Okay.
Okay. You may just have to roll. Or you know what? You may not have to roll it like me. You can just take a ball and roll it like this.
Okay.
Just take a ball, roll it like that. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to roll this too tight either. I do have a habit of doing that. So you could take a roll. You could roll it like that. So it's like, just pinch it.
Okay.
Just pinch it like this. Just watch me. Pinch it like this.
Oh,
Okay? Yeah, just pinch it.
See, I'm so rough. It's rough with things.
Well, what we have a tendency to do, we have a tendency to overthink things. And that's probably what's happening, where we could just stick with the process and just do it. And also discover what process works for each individual person. Like for me, I can take 2 dough balls and roll it like this. I'll show you. We're going to put it like this. And what we're going to do, we're going to set these rolls up in the pan 4 by 6. So we're going to have 24 rolls. So that instead of just having 12 rolls to feed a whole family with, you got some extra rolls that are left over so that people can have, like, you know, people can have seconds or thirds. So here's another way to roll the dough. I have 2 balls right here, and I got my hands like this, and I'm forming my hands in cups. And what I'm doing is I'm rolling it like this. You see how I'm tucking the dough underneath to form balls? And these balls aren't quite even, and it's okay. Like I said, this is going to be fun. So you can roll it like that. You know, see, it's great. You're doing a wonderful job.
Okay.
And see, again, we don't have to have, you know, a floured surface because of the way that the dough is. We don't have to have a floured surface where we don't have to do any extra kneading or anything like that. That's the purpose of, you know, having that mixer. Because when you mix dough by hand, it's a lot of, and over a while it can stress out your hands. And so that's not what I want. I want people to have an easy and wonderful time. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take some of this dough, put it here, and let's see. So, here we go. Here's a ball for you.
Yay!
Yay! So we're mixing the dough. Now, this is going to be optional. But what I want you to do is get the egg wash out again. Because we're going to brush this with egg wash. Now you see how the rolls are set up? And again, because it's got so much sugar and yeast in it, it's not going to take a long time for it to proof. And they're supposed to spread out and touch each other. So Cece, what I want you to do is brush the egg wash on top of the rolls. Okay? Okay, you don't want to oversaturate it, but just like really one way to do it.
Right there.
Here. And just again, this is my professionalism and also cutting time. So, but I love this. Okay, great. This is awesome. So we can put the egg wash away. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna proof this in the oven for at least 30 minutes. And again, while we're putting this in, we're gonna check on the status of our Italian dough and see how that's proof. So let's come on over to the oven and check it out. Oh wow, look at this.
Looking great.
This is awesome, look at this. But you see it's gonna have that shine on there? And do you see the pot of water that I have down underneath?
Yes.
So it makes a proof box. Look at this. This is awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See that? Anybody can do this at home. Anyone can do this. And later on, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make incisions on this in the next segment. So, you know, we'll just go with this right here. Look at this.
It looks great.
This is beautiful. I would love to have soup bowls like this. But you know what we're about to do?
What?
We're about to make some incisions on these. And the purpose of making incisions on these is so that the bread can bake properly. So that, you know, excess air is not totally kept in this bread. So now I didn't cut it that neatly, but like I said, the objective is so that excess air doesn't stay in. And it makes a beautiful design to see the bread with too. I can also cut down like this too.
Okay.
You know, like our classic white mountain bread.
Okay. Like the hot cross.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let's do something real quick. Can you get the flour, Cece?
Yes.
Yes. Get the flour from the cabinet. I know I have you going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, sometimes it's like that. And can you get the sifter, please?
What?
So, what we're going to do is we're going to...
What does this do?
This will give it like sort of a decoration. And then it also, when bread bakes in the oven, now I remember why we score it. We score the bread so that when bread bakes in the oven, as it grows in the oven, it doesn't break. It doesn't break, but like the air, excess air goes out and it keeps the bread uniform. And so we don't need this. We don't need this anymore either. And so I know the bread is covering up the lines, but later on, and like I said, as the bread bakes in the oven, these are gonna split up, these are gonna split up, and so it's gonna make a nice opening and it's gonna make a wonderful presence. Okay? All right? So let's go over to the oven. And right now, what I have the oven preset at 450, but we're not gonna bake it there a long time.
Okay.
Basically, I have a trick. So, all right, let's place it like this. Okay, here's a trick that I also learned to have the effect of the steaming. And don't worry, it's not gonna ruin. Just throw some ice cubes in there. You're gonna steam it. So it's gonna produce steam in there. So it's gonna expand the bread. It's not only gonna expand the bread, it's also gonna make a shine to it as well. Okay? So we're gonna turn our oven down to 375. Let's see. And then we are going to bake it for about 30 minutes. This is so beautiful. Now, we have an option to egg wash this, but I don't think we need to egg wash this. No, we already egg washed it already.
We sure did.
Yeah, so we can put it in the oven.
All right, let's do that.
So, we got the oven turned down to 375. And what we're going to do, we're going to also put this in the oven to bake along with our bread for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, Cece,
Yeah.
the timer just went off. Let's see about our
All
products.
right.
All right. Oh my God! Look at these dinner rolls.
Woo!
Oh, do you see these?
These are amazing. You can't find them in the store like this.
No.
That's the real deal.
That is the real deal. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see about our bread. Let's see if it's. Oh God, that's done too. So we did these at the same time. You see how shiny this is?
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. But guess what we're going to do for our dinner rolls?
What are we going to do next?
Got a surprise. That was supposed to be melted butter. The butter went to its original state. However, like I have a tendency to invent possibility. So we're going to take this butter.
That just looks so good.
Right. Look at that. See, it's like I'm still conscious about touching it with my fingers, but you know, but you see that? Look at how buttery that is.
Buttery goodness.
Buttery goodness, look. Let's saturate that with butter. Now, we're gonna let this cool about like 10 to 15 minutes. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see that? Wow. All right. We're going to let these cool because if we tear these out too early, what's going to happen is it's going to harden on one of the pieces and where it's supposed to be soft.
Okay.
So we want to wait and let that sit until. We even want to wait and let this sit because if you cut bread while it's hot, it has a tendency to shrink. And so you want to wait until this is, look at this. But do you see how this opened up?
Yes.
Do you see the soup bowls, how they are? You know, you could go ahead and scoop these out. What you could also use these for, you could also use these for holiday dips, like assorted holiday dips. Like you could use one for spinach dip. You could use one for fondue. Let's see. You know, you can use one for soup. You can use it for anything. And it makes a great holiday edition. And this is so easy to do. Wow, look at these props.
This is just awesome.
Now you see, how do you feel about that?
I'm good. I just want to dig in. I want to taste one.
Taste it.
Okay.
Just pull it off.
Ooh, this one right here.
Now you see how soft that is?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, soft.
Mmm. Here we go now.
Look how the inside, you see we waited? Oh, that smells so good.
Mmm. This is it. My carb craving right here.
Yes.
Mmm.
Like you could have these with soup or some stew, or like I said, for Thanksgiving dinner. You know, instead of buying rolls, like you can really just make your own.
Yeah.
You see.
Very good.
This is so good. Nice, good homemade rolls. I'm gonna dip mine in butter. Mmm. Okay. All right, now let's taste the Italian bread. My favorite piece on this is the end piece because you get the effect of the crust.
Okay.
You get the effect of the bread. So here.
I'm gonna dip this in butter.
Mm-hmm.
Italian.
Mm.
Excellent.
Oh, this is perfect. I really love the way this tastes. And it has such a distinct salty taste to it.
I know. I noticed that.
Very distinct salty taste to it, which is great. You could also have this with some red wine, some red wine and bread,
Yes.
some cheese and ham. And also for leftover stuff, for leftovers, you can turn all of this into stuffing. Well, I guess we're ready for our next round of bread and rolls. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Cece, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I'd also like to thank Alexis Robinson for being the director and holding this in her home. I'd like to thank John Bloom for coming out and volunteering his time to film this. And especially, I'd love to volunteer someone that was also especially behind the scenes, that also made the timetables come together. His name is Brandon Tidwell. He's a really successful project manager, and he applied this over here on this project. So I'd like to say thank you all for participating in this, and thank you for making this a reality. And we will see you soon. Thank you. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. All right, get your carbs on, baby.